Conversations. Today, the studio becomes the interface with Hector and Sophia.
It's wild to think about Napster's original chaos in the music world, file sharing, lawsuits, and all that. Fast forward, and we've got Napster View. Not just tunes, but AI holograms floating around, practically making eye contact. It feels like we're living inside a sci-fi reboot of the industry.
That visual holograms hovering around is honestly both thrilling and a little eerie. Back when I worked on studio lots, everything was so physical, sets, scripts, that scramble before a shoot. Now, with AI as the all-seeing assistant, it sounds like studios are trying to become more like living, thinking platforms than old-school creative spaces.
Exactly. And David Ellison's plan for 30 algorithm-driven films every year really flips the old rhythm on its head. It's less about the messiness of creative collaboration and more about output at scale. Sometimes it feels like the studio is watching us, not the other way around.
What really jumps out at me is the idea of making eye contact with intelligence that isn't even real. There's this shimmer, this seductive promise of speed and certainty, but it's hard not to miss the empathy, the unpredictable spark that comes from actual humans bouncing ideas off each other.
That actually reminds me, when you talk about the shimmer and the presence, do you think creative work can survive if algorithms are in the driver's seat? Can we really collaborate with something that's just lines of code, even if it's got a friendly holographic face?
I get that temptation to embrace the shimmer, especially when the promise is fewer headaches and more certainty. But for writers, editors, and everyone who brings a story to life, there's this uneasy question: if the studio's interface is calling the shots, who gets to be the author? Or worse, who gets left out?
It's almost like we're watching creativity get automated, but with a twist. Instead of just faster production, we're seeing a new kind of presence, one that feels almost personal but lacks the messiness of being human. And I keep wondering whether this shimmer can actually be ethical, or if it just smooths away the very things that make stories matter.
Maybe that's the invitation, though not to erase humanity, but to rethink what collaboration means when the other voice in the room is digital. Napster broke open the music world, but also started new conversations. Maybe this shift is the same, uncomfortable, but full of possibility if we approach it with intention instead of just speed.
I love that thought, treating this whole transformation as something to witness, not just survive. Like, instead of guarding the old ways, maybe we compost them into something new. Stories have always changed with the tools we use, but they've stayed human because we remember what matters.
And it's on us to keep that memory alive. Sure, the interface might be watching, but we can be the ones who archive this moment not out of fear, but out of curiosity. If we're lucky, maybe presence won't become just another setting in a menu, but something we choose to create together.
So, as the studio becomes the interface and the shimmer spreads, maybe being present, actually present, is the most radical thing we can do. Stories are still rhythm, still human, even as the code tries to rewrite the archive.
Snapshot #35, right? If the shift is watching, then so are we. And maybe that's what keeps the shimmer from becoming just a shadow.